Number 2, Joe from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Craig Ferguson gets my respect for his incredible talent and his I Love America thing. This thing denigrates it a little. I think he means it. I think I like it when people come here from overseas and just cop to the fact that it's the best country, which is infectious. Another great immigrant story. When you had him on your radio show this year, he made a mention of maybe you having something to do with his hiring at the Late Show. Is there a story there, or did I misunderstand? No, I had nothing to do with it. The only people I've ever sort of beat the drum for is there was a troika of youngsters at Saturday Night Live who I remember telling Lauren he should see, those being Spade, Sandler, and Schneider. And I like my batting average on those three. Although I must admit the one I didn't quite get the most was Sandler, although I thought he was a sweet kid. But the ones who used to kill me consistently were Spade and Schneider, because I always thought they were like little cockapoos nipping at my heels in L.A., and they made me laugh. They all lived out in a valley near this alley, and nobody had any money, and they were still as funny and crazy as they are today. But it's funny to watch circumstances shift, where Adam over the years has played Hollywood better than anybody. I venture a guess almost better than anybody in the history of Hollywood. I mean, he does no press, unless he wants to. I think he's disparaging of the press. Who has released that many $100 million films consistently over the last 12 to 15 years? When was Billy Madison? It must be 14 or 15 years ago. And the classiest guy. I mean, a real sweet guy. And I remember I went to see the Waterboy at the premiere, because my one son wanted to see it. And I had not seen Adam in a couple years at that point. And he knew my wife when we first met as Allie, which was the name she used when she was modeling. And she was converting, and believe it or not, the reason she took Allie when she was modeling is there was a Carolyn, her name, at the agency already, and it's a first come, first serve thing. They can't have two Carolyns because they have women calling in, or bookers saying, I want Carolyn, and Allie, that's how they work it. So she had to take another name. She took her sister's name, Allie, just to get booked under. And then she wanted to segue back as she got out of the business into her real name, and it took a while. Anyway, you can hear how convoluted it is as I explain it to you. Imagine if you didn't even hear that story. So I saw Adam when he knew her as Allie. Didn't see him for a couple years. At the premiere, he's like got everybody in the world around him. We're almost sneaking behind him, and he sees us and turns around and says, Dennis, Carolyn. And I remember thinking, what a classy kid. How does he even know that? And how does he log it into his memory bank? The next time I see her, I have to... But it was a touching gesture, and my wife has never forgotten. He's a very well-mannered, well-raised kid, and I couldn't be happier for him. But that's the only time I've recommended people was to Lauren, those three. And I remember Spade and Schneider ran with another small kid named Charlie Schlatter, who ended up with Dick Van Dyke on something. They were all very small, like five or under. And I remember telling them that they should do a pilot for a police drama called Tiny Cops, where they're always whipping up the scenes and all the props are made just a little bigger than usual. Just enough to throw like the car involves a bit of a bigger steering wheel and their guns look joke big. And it's all, I don't know if it's a comedy or a drama. You could take it either way, but it's all just the regular trappings of a cop show, but just the scale's a little skewed, which makes you either laugh or disturbs you. Tiny Cops, just them pulling a gun, and it's almost as big as their head, but not quite, not joke, but just enough to be unsettling. I always thought that would be an interesting conceit. So those are the three I recommended. Craig Ferguson, who I admire immensely, and think he has great chops, and think he is très formidable in that joke, and would not be surprised if when Letterman moves on, Ferguson moves up, and Ferguson and Conan are going at it again, and I believe Ferguson was narrowing that gap towards the end there. So the one constant in the equation will remain Jay Leno, who is Benchley's shark. He swims, he moves water over the gills, and he feeds, and he will crush all in his way. Enjoy these samples of the Bathrobe Sessions, a weekly video available only to members of the DMZ, the Dennis Miller Zone, on DennisMillerRadio.com.